Hi, today's quick PD is about using an Alphaboxes chart to help your students to brainstorm their writing and also collect important vocabulary. This is a strategy I learned a long time ago from the wonderful Linda Hoyt. And so I've used it over the past 25 years, and it's really one of those strategies that is very powerful, especially for students who are striving to learn, striving writers, striving readers. So the way the strategy goes, let me share it with you. It's simple enough in that you start with just a chart. It can be a one-page A to Z chart or a two-page A to Z chart. I've got both of those linked for you in the newsletter this month. And you start by just asking the students to brainstorm what they know about a topic. Now, think about this as what you might find in an informational text is the index. So before we start writing about a topic, we want to kind of start thinking about what kind of content's going to be in that writing. So we create an index of important ideas. I usually start off by showing them a topic that they know a lot about themselves. And so I start with my own, and I do an ABCs of me. And this is also a great way to get to know your learners, and they can add to it every week if they add new ideas, new things that are important about them. So I share with them and ask them to do some noticing about the things that are important to me, ideas and topics and things I know a lot about that I could write about that, also describe who I am. And I want them to notice that I don't have something in every box. So as I'm thinking about that, I either print one up and show them and then add to it, or I start from scratch and just start showing what's the first thing I think about, what's the next thing I think about, and I just kind of go through and make it. And then I stop and I say, so what do you think? Are there any of my topics or ideas that I've written down that seem interesting to you? Because, inquiring minds do want to know. And so then I ask them if they'd like to ask me any questions about that. Almost always they'll go to something like, well, the number one that I'm asked about is blind date. So at that point, I tell them a little bit about the story of how I met my husband on a blind date. Sometimes they'll pick up on a topic like kayaking, and they'll ask me about kayaking. You kayak? And then I'll tell them a little bit about it. And then I model for them that when somebody starts to ask me about the words or ideas that I put on my Alphaboxes chart, those are probably really good topics I could expand on and talk a lot about in my writing because they're interesting to my audience. So it's super easy to use, and by the time the students have created their own and they can add to them at any time, they really end up with a word bank that they can use to write about themselves or a start for ideas for those days when you can't think of anything to write about. You can just pull out your Alphaboxes chart and say, what could I write about today? Now, you can take and do some adaptations with this as well. You can take it over into, let's say, social studies, and whatever unit we're doing in social studies, students can collect the academic language of that unit on an Alphaboxes chart. Same thing for science, math, art, music, any topic. And then they can go back and do reviews on those key ideas, those key concepts, key vocabulary. You can even use it to play games. We play games like the $10,000 pyramid game, where they have to be guessing. Somebody's a guesser and somebody's a teller, and they're using the Alphaboxes chart, picking a word and trying to get the partner to guess what word it is. So there's just so many uses for this chart, and it's so non-threatening to kids because they can just start listing and then go so many places from there. So I hope that if you haven't been using Alphaboxes chart, you'll definitely put this on your list of instructional activities to do with your students.